Good evening and welcome to the North Georgia GMRS Regional Net. Tonight we are live from Studio Vanguard and we are linked in with the following repeaters. Who's got that?
I've got that tonight, I think. So tonight we are live on Watkinsville, Flagship, McDonough, Jersey, Columbus, Buckhead, Peachtree, Lula, Noonan, Rome, Dallas, Toccoa, Zebulon, Ocala, and then on our northern gang, Mount Roosevelt, Lookout Mountain, Fort Mountain, Ottawa, White Oak Mountain, and Georgetown.
Awesome. Thank you, Gary. Your net control tonight is Atlanta 947, WQYR 514. My name's Julie.
And this is WQYR 514, Atlanta 946. My name is Justin.
And this is WSAL 368, Atlanta 263. My name is Rogers.
And this is WRUB 711, Atlanta 519, bringing up the rear. This is Gary.
This net takes place every Thursday evening at 7:30 p.m. I would like to thank everyone who has made the North Georgia GMRS the most expansive and active GMRS network in the country. Tonight, you can talk about your day's activities, radio equipment, or anything you think we would like to hear. This is a family-based network, so we would encourage you to get your family involved. Guest check-ins are welcome from anyone with a valid FCC call sign. And once the floor is open, it is permissible to address the other members of the net by their name or tactical unit number. Your FCC call sign is only required when you sign in and when you sign out of the net. Also, you can tune into our YouTube channel and follow along, or even better, you can tune in after the net to watch your appearance on the network and hear how you sound to us right here in Studio Vanguard. These actions mean the most to our YouTube channel, so be sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment so that we know that you were listening in. tonight's topic, I think we're going to talk about backyard barbecues.
Yeah, outdoor kitchens, grilling, smoking, all of those kind of things. So if you've got any recipes you'd like to share, or equipment that you use, or anything you think that we need to know about, this would be a great net to join in on.
Perfect. All right. Well, with that, why don't we go ahead and go to announcements? Who's going to take care of that tonight?
Well, let's see. Free Salad's not here, so I guess I'll take that on. Good evening, everyone. This is Atlanta 946 WQIR. My name is Justin, with this week's news and announcements live from Studio Vanguard. Real quick before we get started, a little housekeeping bit here. If you are a lifetime member, please, if you've not already done so, go to our website and update your membership information. If you're not getting emails from us, that's probably why. So it's my understanding that some folks did not get an invite to the barbecue. That's unfortunate. But if we don't have your current email address, then your invite got sent to whatever we do have. And remember, our website was changed. And when that happened, we lost all of the old email addresses and such. So if it's been a while since you have updated your information, you need to please go ahead and do that. Now, regular members who have recently paid for a membership, we've got that information. So this is a problem we have with lifetime members. So lifetime members, if you've not updated your information on our website, please go to our website and do that. Some upcoming gatherings to talk about this week and in the next couple of weeks. Pay attention, jot these down, and these meetups are a great way. Great way to meet other members in and around your area. Let me break. The next West Side Luncheon will be this Saturday. This got moved from last Saturday, so if you thought you missed it, you have another chance. May 17th at Taco Mac in Marietta at 11 a.m. That address is 2650 Dallas Highway, Suite 110, Marietta, Georgia 30064. Please RSVP to the Rabbit Hole at nggmrs.org. Join the Rabbit Hole gang for some good food and fellowship. Get a selfie with the hosts of the one and only Rabbit Hole Net. The Northeast Bunch will be having their lunch meetup on Wednesday, May 28 at 11 a.m. They'll be at the usual place. They don't very often go to unusual places. Most of the time, they're at Rooster's Cafe in Dahlonega. All current and future North Georgia GMRS members are always welcome. For more information, please contact Atlanta 403 or Atlanta 256. Our next Chattanooga lunch will be on the beautiful land of our very own Jim, Chattanooga 110. Jim has a farm, and his family have invited us to come and have lunch at their property again this year. This is such a beautiful place for us to gather and meet each other. We're asking that you RSVP to the email listed in the mass email provided. So there was a mailing that went out. Not sure if that was one that would include all of our membership or not. But in any case, if you didn't get the email, it could be because you need to update your information on our website. Maybe. In any case, please RSVP to the email, and I'll give an email here in just a moment. And that's how you're going to get directions to the property. So if you don't RSVP, if you're not going, then we're not going to tell you how to get there. The date is Saturday, May 17th. If it happens to rain that weekend, they're going to move it to Saturday, May 24th. So pay attention to the weather. They're asking that you can feel free to arrive around 10 a.m. to hike around and fish. Lunch is like any other. It's for North Georgia GMRS members and ham operators as well. The location will be made available for those who RSVP. So here's the email. You ready to write it down? You got your pen handy?
I'm ready.
All
Go
right.
for it.
It is Kilo Oscar 4 Mike Papa Kilo. Kilo Oscar 4 Mike Papa Kilo at gmail.com. And if you don't know how to do the phonetics, that's KO4MPK at gmail.com. All right. The Kennesaw Gathering. They're going to meet for their, they call that the Meet and Geek, I believe.
Meet and
That's
geet. Meet
correct.
and geet with a tailgate.
With a tailgate, okay. There it is, the Meet and Geek. So bring your radio. If you have any programming issues or concerns, come on out. This will be a great chance to get your radio programmed if you don't have the programming software or cables to do that yourself. Hang out with some folks and talk about radio stuff. They're going to have a mobile test bench there, and they can program most radios, but it'd be a good idea to reach out to Ed, Atlanta 557, beforehand, either on the air or via email at wrqg806 at gmail.com, and let him know what radio you have so he can be sure he has software and programming cables to cover that radio. Sounds like Ed has a pretty good collection of cables and software already. So very cool. The Meet and Geek on June 10 at the Old Town Tavern and Grill, right around the corner from the McCollum Airport. Let's break. All right, so for new members as well as guests that are listening in, here's a rundown of our weekly nets. On Sunday, May 25th, will be the next date for the Rabbit Hole net. Early check-ins are at 7 o'clock, and the net begins at 7:30. The topic will be announced soon. Also, the Rabbit Hole is now live streaming, much like we do on Thursday nights. So don't forget, as you're watching the live stream, to like and subscribe, and feel free to jump in with comments, questions, or even feedback in the chat box. Lisa does a great job of monitoring the chat and bringing discussion from the chat to the air. She's better at it than I am, so we'll see how things go tonight. The Ladies Roundtable Net is the first Monday of the month, so that means the next one will be on June 2nd at 8 p.m. We're hoping to give everyone time to finish dinner and settle in for a chat. At 8 o'clock, Atlanta 255 will announce that the Ladies Roundtable Net has begun. At that time, you can check in just like any other net. No worries, if you don't make it at the 8 o'clock seating, just listen in as the conversation goes. And when you hear break, you can jump in with comment, and they will assign you a seat at the table. Tuesdays on the northern region of our network features a Skywarn net. This is a training net for Skywarn weather spotters in coordination with the National Weather Service, and it is available only on the Chattanooga area of the North Georgia GMRS Network. We actually split the linking system in such a way that the northern portion of the network is separated from the rest of the network so that they can focus on the region that most needs attention related to Skywarn. Wednesdays feature a short ERC net at 8 p.m. This is a roll call net. This net is closed to North Georgia GMRS members. This net is for ERC members only. Please refrain from checking into this net unless you are an ERC member. The regional net is on Thursdays with early check-ins beginning at 7 and the programming starting at 7:30. This net covers a variety of topics: barbecuing, radio equipment. We're going to be talking about Memorial Day soon. Whatever. We talk about all kinds of crazy stuff. So who knows? We usually post the topics on Facebook, and we encourage everyone to participate by checking in on your GMRS radio or on Zello, or you can check in on YouTube. If you're unable to check in on the air, this net is streamed live to our YouTube channel. It can be replayed later. This gives you an opportunity to hear how you sound to us right here in Studio Vanguard. On Friday night at 9, the Simplex Challenge comes starting at 8. Does it start at 8 or at 7:30? I could never figure this out. So the Friday
is at 7:30.
Friday night at 9 starts at 7:30 with 2 meter, and then at 8 they move to GMRS. And so anyway, be sure and check that out. I think that the Simplex Challenge is more than just a simplex challenge. This is an opportunity for you to test the performance of your radio equipment, for you to learn what the limitations and capabilities of your radio systems are, and for you to determine, easy for you to say, for you to determine who your simplex neighbors are, who you can contact in the event that the repeaters might be unavailable. Or if you just want to be able to reach out and have a chat and not engage the entire network, but you don't know who to talk to, Friday nights are a great opportunity to learn who is nearby by engaging in the simplex challenge. So, Rogers, how many neighbors have you added to your list?
Well, I've I could regularly chat with Mark, Rome 12, Gainesville 100, Scott, Atlanta 761. So I've made several contacts.
So, and that's the purpose of this, is an opportunity to build an awareness of your radio's performance and to establish who you can reliably be able to contact on a simplex basis. So highly encourage everyone to engage in the simplex challenge on Friday nights. Let's break. All right, so we are excuse me. Sorry about that. We're back from the Smith family. I think this needed to be edited out. We've already done the picnic thing. We're done with that. Hope everybody had a great time. And so here's probably one thing we should say. If you enjoyed the picnic this year, let us know with a quick note to nggmrsevents@gmail.com. Offer thanks to the Smith family and any suggestions you might have to improve the next large North Georgia GMRS gathering. And a couple of things to mention that are coming up soon. The first one would be the 2025 AJC Peachtree Road Race is coming up on the morning of July 4th. The volunteers there are in need of some GMRS operators to help coordinate at the finishing area in Piedmont Park. If you're planning to be in town for the holiday and would like to volunteer to help out, please contact our very own Atlanta 26 Flip for further instruction as to how to get involved. You can reach Flip by sending an email to justin@nggmrs.org, and it will get forwarded to Flip. Also coming up, the Knoxville Hamfest is on 6/21. So that's not this weekend, but the next one. That's going to be at the Wallace Memorial Baptist Church in Knoxville, Tennessee.
It's not June yet.
Oh, it's not June yet. Yeah. All right. So that's coming up in 5 weeks. Well, it's coming up. But you know what's interesting is nearby where the Hamfest is going to be held is a place called Austin's Steak and Homestyle Buffet. So I'm fairly certain that if you were to take the ham test at the Knoxville Hamfest, you could then go to Austin's Steak and Homestyle Buffet and get a free salad with the purchase of a buffet. I don't know that for sure, so someone should go check that out. Mark your calendar for the Atlanta Hamfest. This is coming up maybe a little sooner, in just a couple of weeks, on June 7th. North Georgia GMRS is planning to be there. We'll be in the boneyard with a canopy and a table. Very light setup. So come on out and say hello and visit with us for a little bit. Anybody that would like to volunteer, please reach out to justin@nggmrs.org, and we'll hang out and we'll have some fellowship. We'll tell some stories. Some of them might even be true. And we'll have a good time at the Hamfest. So that's 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Saturday, June 7th. Admission is $10. And let's see. So I think that's pretty much it. If you have any questions or comments or news to share, please send an email to justin@nggmrs.org. And that's all the announcements. Back to you.
Let's break. All right. Well, that's all good stuff. I hope everybody had their pencils out and are marking their calendars for the events that you would like to participate in. We're going to go ahead and I think we should go back to or begin check-ins. So let's begin with Zello users first. All Zello users, please check in now.
Actually, before we do that, let me go ahead and acknowledge our YouTube check-ins here. So we've got Rome 12 Mark in Rome, Columbus 25 Peter in West Point. I've got WRWY 456 Dave in Rogersville, Missouri. I've got Atlanta 238. Oh boy, I'm going to get the name wrong. Apologies in advance for the name, but I'm going to go with Rajat. I think that's right. We'll have to figure that out. He's in Brookhaven, Georgia. We have Atlanta 927 Connie in Buford, Rome 11 Mark in Adairsville, Chattanooga 208 Robert in Chattanooga, Dallas 592 Michael in Dallas, Atlanta 164 Dan in Marietta, and Atlanta 165 Julia also in Marietta. All right, so those are the YouTube check-ins we have at this time. Let's go ahead and let's do this. Zello users, hold on. I want to go to any repeater other than Flagship. We'll come to Zello at the end of our check-ins instead of at the beginning. So any repeater other than Flagship, please call net control now.
Atlanta 306, WSFR 920, George in Loganville, checking in.
Okay, Mike's back.
WSFZ 865, CW16 Angel out of Athens, checking in and out.
Blue Ridge 124, WSFX 464, Shane checking in from Atlanta, in and out.
This is our Buckhead repeater connection.
Very cool. How come we can't hear any of those?
Because they're coming in on YouTube.
Oh, I got it.
Control? Control, please copy WQYV. WQYV 343, Gainesville 47. This is Atlanta 104, WSAM 623, Brian in Social Circle on the Jersey repeater. Checking in and checking out. Have a great night.
All right, Net Control is going to go ahead and acknowledge this round of check-ins. We heard Atlanta 306 George in Loganville is in with us tonight. CW16 Angel in Athens is in and out. BR124 Shane in Blue Ridge is in and out. And on YouTube, we have Atlanta 379 Scott in Sandy Creek, New York. And we have Atlanta 192 Faith in Holly Springs YouTube check-ins. We have Gainesville 47 Todd in Gainesville. We've got you marked as in. And we have Atlanta 104 Brian in Social Circle in and out. We'll continue on with check-ins from any repeater anywhere. We'll make a spot for Zello check-ins here in just a little bit. So flagship traffic, slow the roll just a little bit and try not to double. Net control standing by.
Is WSGK 999 ATL 183 John in Canton, Georgia on mobile in and out.
This is WROB 245 Atlanta 849. You checked me in early. I want to make sure that I am. Welcome by.
This is WSAI 529er, John from Marietta, banging the Buckhead repeater, in and out.
This is Atlanta 420 WRFS 771, William in Roswell, checking in and out, and we'll be monitoring.
William said in and out. I think you should go on.
All right, Net Control is going to acknowledge this round of check-ins. We've got Atlanta 183 John in Canton is in and out. We have WSAI 529 John in Marietta is in and out. We have Atlanta 420 William in Roswell in and out. And we have Blue Ridge 63 Free Salad is logging from the Salad Ridge. Mike is made it back, and he's able to help out with logging. So maybe we'll make some improvements in our check-ins from this point forward. And since we're at this point going forward, let's go ahead and hold all RF traffic and make a spot for Zello check-ins. Zello check-ins only. Net Control standing by.
This is WRQG806 Atlanta 557 Ed in Kennesaw, along with Atlanta 558. Denise and Kennesaw both are checking in and out. WSGX 490, Atlanta 194. This is Scott checking in and out.
All right, net control acknowledging. Atlanta 557 Ed in Kennesaw, in and out. Atlanta 558 Denise in Kennesaw, also in and out. And Atlanta 194 Scott in Atlanta, in and out. Those are the check-ins we have. So we're going to go ahead to the top of the roster, and we'll be talking about barbecues and smokers and things that we put on the foods that we cook. What do we like other than pork butts, ribs, and things of that? What do you use for rubs and barbecue sauces and all of those kind of things? So that's our topic for tonight. And if you didn't get checked in, stick around. There'll be a chance for one more round of check-ins at the end, and Mike will be continuing to work in any additional YouTube check-ins as they come. So, Mike, I guess if you're able to put a note in the log, if there's anything from the YouTube chat that we should pay attention to or that we should discuss on the air. It's really hard for me to watch the YouTube comments and focus on what I'm doing. So if you could do that for us, I'd appreciate that. Mike is remote this evening and helping out from afar. So
yeah, I see in the notes too. Somebody suggested hitting the thumbs up. That always is a nice thing. So if you're in YouTube land, give us a thumbs up.
Hit the like and the subscribe is an important tool for us to it just shows that people are paying attention. There's not a lot of people, but the more that we get and the more acknowledgments we get, the more it helps the channel to be seen by other interested GMRS users. So definitely, if you would please give us a like. If you haven't subscribed, please do that. And yeah. So let's see. Let's go to the top of the roster here, and we have. It looks like Chattanooga 32. Scott in Rossville is first up tonight. Now we may have missed some in and outs here at the beginning, so if Scott's not there, I'm not going to be surprised or even disappointed. Well, I guess I'll be disappointed a little bit. We do want him to be there. Scott, do you have any comments for tonight's net?
Yes, sir. I was checking in and out, but I just wanted to mention I had a great time at the picnic. And for tonight's topic, my favorite barbecue is a chuck roast with marbling. And I'll be out.
Ah, the old chuck roast. That's always one that we've done really in a roasting pan in the oven rather than on the grill. But that'd sure be worth. Have you ever done chuck roast on a grill?
I don't think so.
No?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think I have. And it's just, you let it slow cook, and it just falls apart on your fork.
That's what you want.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so slow and low is the way to go when you're talking about barbecue or meats of that nature anyway. So that sounds tasty.
You had the right sauce with it and everything, and there you
go. I've kind of, I don't know, I've come to the point in my life where with beef in particular, not so much with pork, but with beef, mild seasonings, mild flavorings. I don't like a lot of, I don't mind smoke, but I don't want a heavy barbecue or a heavy rub on beef. I really like the flavor of beef, and so I don't want to cover that up. A nice beef brisket without any barbecue sauce at all. Man, I love that. I love that a lot. But with pork, it's the other white meat, and the barbecue sauce really helps a lot, when you're talking about pork or chicken. I think that those meats are good, but I really like them a lot more with the barbecue sauce. But when it comes to beef, I'd really rather, no steak sauce. I don't really even salt I salt the potatoes, but if it's beef, I don't really even want salt on it. really enjoy that flavor. So I don't know. That's just me. But a good marbled chuck roast would be that makes my mouth water just thinking about it. Well, good stuff, Scott. I'm glad that you stuck around for your comments. Did you have anything else for us? Is that on White Oak?
White Oak, yeah, White Oak.
Okay. All right, Scott, we're going to go ahead and move on. And somebody from White Oak needs some lessons in radio etiquette, I think. Having some challenges operating a radio. Simple stuff, isn't it, Rogers? You know that.
You know, if it's your turn to talk, press down the PTT.
And
If
just
not,
hold it
just
down.
just
You don't
listen.
have to, You don't have to keep bumping it. You got to hold it down while you're talking. That bumping it and playing with the Roger beep. I mean, nobody really needs to hear that. So, those folks up there at the White Oak repeater, you have to get together with your peers and show that guy how to use a radio. He clearly doesn't quite get it. But thanks for your comments, Scott. Appreciate that very much. And we know that wasn't you, so no worries there. Atlanta 785, Rick in Marietta. Rick, do you have any comments for tonight's net? You got any great recipes you'd like to share? All right, Rick may have been in and out. We're going to go ahead and show him as in and out and move right along to Atlanta 1126 Joe in Snellville. Does he go by Joe or Joseph? We got so many. I can't.
Yeah, we
keep
got a
them
few
straight.
different Joes. I think.
I think this one is actually Joseph. So Atlanta 1126. Do you have any comments for the net tonight?
Yeah, roger that. This is Joseph in Snellville. You've hit on a subject that I feel qualified to speak on because my wife and I are 10-year master judges with the Georgia Barbecue Association, KCBS, and a few other organizations. We travel the state and judge barbecue contests. I have 2 big green eggs and a 420-pound offset smoker. Brisket is my forte. But I've done pretty much everything you can name. So I have a lot of advice for anyone who's interested in hearing it at any time. I can definitely give you some insight on good barbecue.
Very nice. What is the ideal temperature for brisket?
Well, I cook my brisket at 250, and I get it around 203 when I pull it. Of course, you're going to get the stall, and that's the same as a pork butt. What I do is I wrap my brisket in butcher paper when it goes in the stall, and I use Wagyu tallow on the brisket. And what that does imparts a much more flavor profile to the meat. I try to use prime, but I have done choice. I think prime has a little edge on it. So my smoker's big enough I do 2 or 3 briskets at a time because, you take 12, 15 hours of work. Single brisket sometimes gets to be a little too little.
We should have had Joseph on site at Vanguard tonight. I'm thinking we missed a great opportunity for samples and Joseph in seat number 2.
Definitely, yeah. He could have been a guest right here in Vanguard, and so we'll have to consider that in the future. I suppose that's something that we should make mention. We do have the capacity for guests here in Vanguard, so if anybody at any point has something that they would like to to bring to the network as a program, we can probably make something work out. So just reach out to us and let us know what your thoughts and ideas are, and we'll turn that into a program. But that's fantastic. So 250 degrees, you're looking for about 203 on the internal temperature on that meat when you pull it, and 12 to 15 hours. That's, man, that sounds absolutely amazing, just thinking about what that must taste like with the tallow. So very good stuff. Anything else you'd like to share before we move on?
Well, actually, I'll do a ball-faced plug here and say that anybody really interested in learning the ins and outs of Q can join the Georgia Barbecue Association. It's got a training class coming up. We haven't announced it yet, but we expect you to join the club, and there's a small fee for the training. The way it works is that you judge 2 competitions and you become a trained judge. And then if you do, as my wife and I did, we do 25 competitions, we cook with a team, we do various other things in order to get a master's certification. So anybody who might be interested in that, I'd be glad to help them out with it.
Oh, very good stuff. So we've found the website for the Georgia Barbecue Association. We put that up on our YouTube live stream. So anybody that would like some more information or links to look at, there's even a phone number there. So go ahead and take a look at the YouTube live stream, and you can play it back if you need to, and grab some information about the Georgia Barbecue Association. And looks like there's some activities and stuff on that webpage that you can find and be able to get plugged in and connected. So good stuff, Joseph. That's fascinating, and glad that you were along for the topic tonight. With that, let's continue on. We've got Gainesville 36, Robert in Gainesville. Robert, do you have any contributions for tonight's conversation? All right, we're going to show Gainesville 36 as in and out, and just keep right on trucking. Next on our list, we have Dallas 20, David in southwest Paulding County. David, if I were to prepare 3 10 or 12 pound briskets, and it's just Julie and I and her mom and dad, we're not going to be able to eat that much meat. So what should we do with the rest of it?
Oh, well, no. There's multiple things you can do with that. You could go with the freeze dryer or can it. You can actually can cooked meats, so there's nothing wrong with that at all. But yeah, there's many things you can do to preserve that meat. Real quick, how am I sounding?
You sound okay, a little distant, but overall you sound good. You know, I'm surprised because my answer to that question would have been, invite me over. But canning is also a good answer.
There we go. I just adjusted my mic, put it a little bit closer. Well, you know, I got to fall back on the roots here for the rabbit hole and, you know, figure out, you know, you need to preserve this stuff. But, yeah, the Blackstone has been the game changer for us. There is so many things you can do with it, with the smash burgers, the tacos, the steaks, pork chops. You can do everything on it, and you know it's not uncommon for the weekend to go out there with breakfast and cook all that up. And tortillas are just something that I can, you know, wrap anything up in a tortilla and do well with it. But yeah, me and Paul and Bob had went camping not too long ago in Talladega National Forest and wound up cooking some steaks over open fire. And like you said, minimal seasoning. You know, you can do some salt, pepper, or whatever. I have a tendency to use instant coffee with some of my seasonings. It gets into the meat and seasons it very well, but when we threw it over the fire, it was just plain meat. That was it, you know. And cooking it over the fire was amazing. So, experiment. Get out there and try something different. Look at these YouTube videos and Instagram stuff and see what you like and make it your own.
No, that's very good stuff. You know, there was a time when we experimented with cooking over a wood fire, and we'd cook over hickory and oak and some of the other hardwoods that we could find, you know, right here around the property and nearby. And I tell you, instead of charcoal, cooking over, you know, wood in the grill, and a lot of times we would cheat and start it with charcoal, and the charcoal would get the wood going really well. But, you know, instead of throwing a few chips in, and maybe you soak your wood chips with water or brine so that they burn slower. But instead of doing that, cooking with the actual wood is challenging because, you know, every time you open the grill, you no longer have control over oxygen to the fire. So you got about a minute to manipulate the meat before the fire gets crazy. So you have to be intentional and you have to be fast, but it's very interesting because the flavors that come out of that is so much more intense and so much better than just, you know, cooking over charcoal.
You can change the overall flavor, like an apple would,
That's
or
right.
or a cedar, and you get a totally different taste. It's just open fire is probably the best way to experience that.
But it is very, very challenging, especially when you're trying to cook slow, low and slow. It's hard to keep the fire burning low. So there's some challenges that come with that. And you know some of the pellet grills that have come out, you know, they take those various kinds of wood and they compress them into pellets. And I think you get most of the same effect, but you have a lot more control over the temperature with those pellet stoves. And, you know, I don't have one. I've never cooked on one, but I've always been fascinated by the concept. And, you know, David had mentioned a Blackstone, and it's not the same thing as grilling or smoking, but it's so much more versatile in what you can cook on it. And that's been, for us, that Blackstone has been kind of a it ruined us. So we haven't cooked on a barbecue grill with charcoal or with gas for ages. In fact, our gas grill has deteriorated to the point where it just recently went to the scrap metal place. And, you know, our barbecue grill had gone to the scrap metal place probably a year or two ago. I have a brand new, in the box, has not yet been opened barbecue grill, charcoal grill, that it was a smaller one that we'd purchased with the idea of traveling with it, but it's really not practical for that. It's too bulky. So it never really we never broke it out. We chose that grill because we used one once while we were traveling and thought this is a nice size grill. But then the reality of being able to pack that up and take it somewhere, it's just not practical. So, but long story short, wood-fired grilling is very challenging, but it comes with its rewards.
You know, and David and Lisa are probably experts in preservatives.
Probably.
You know, and you know, I'm interested, David, in beef jerky. Have you been down that rabbit hole?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So Lisa's got this recipe that she has, and I'm going to have to get her to post it because I have no idea what she puts in it. I just know it's awesome. But yeah, we do the beef jerky. We've got an Excalibur dehydrator. It's got 10 trays in it, and you can fill this thing with 3 pounds worth of vegetables on each tray. But the beef jerky's one of the things that everybody starts with when they start doing this stuff. Well, dehydrators. But, you know, and even with going back to the cooking with wood, I've gotten away from any of the Kingsford, the match start. You know, I only cowboy lump charcoal or just bare wood. And since I'm starting to do that, almost like some primitive cooking, cooking over a fire pit over here in the backyard. But Justin's right, the Blackstone just spoils you. You know, it's so easy for you to go out there and throw a grilled ham and cheese sandwich on the Blackstone or a hamburger or something like that, but nothing replaces that wood flavor. And we need to make more beef jerky. Appreciate the reminder. I'm low on beef jerky.
Well, sure enough, and somehow we always come back to food. Even when we're not talking about food, we always come back to food. So here we're all getting hungry in here, even though we've just eaten. So
eating never gets old,
No.
at least for me.
No, it doesn't. You know, speaking of eating, it occurs to me that you were supposed to remind me during announcements of one more gathering. You wanna grab that one right quick?
That's true. The gathering that I attend, the Peachtree Corners Brunch Bunch.
Yeah.
Hosted by Pamela, Atlanta 849 and 848.
So when is that?
It's every Saturday. Well, it's every third Saturday. So it's coming up this Saturday.
This Saturday. Okay.
At 12 noon at the JR's Log House in Peachtree Corners, Georgia.
All right, JR's Log House. That's on Peachtree Industrial?
Right off of it, yeah.
Okay.
It's close to it.
All right. So that's going to be this Saturday at noon.
Yes, and it goes to about 2 p.m.
Okay. All right. So what's the specialty on the menu there?
Well, they have a lot of breakfast foods, brunch. I usually go for the breakfast, and it's good. I've been there many times and never been disappointed.
What's your go-to for breakfast?
My go-to is they have a kind of a sampler plate where you get eggs, choice of meat, and I always throw in the pancake, just for fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, and that's something that I've come to later in life is that in a meal like that, you know, for years we were compelled that you have to finish everything on your plate. Don't order if you're not going to eat it. But when it comes to the pancake, you can enjoy the pancake without eating the whole thing. So that's something, it's okay to leave some of that on your plate, especially if you're doing the sampler where you get a little bit of everything. It ends up being quite a lot of food.
It does. It does. And then they threw in bread in there as well, so you're walking out stuffed.
So Julie and I, whenever we go to the Waffle House, which is surprisingly infrequent, you know, where we came from, there were no Waffle Houses. We had to travel to get to one. And so that was kind of a big deal when we moved down here, thinking that, oh, now we've got Waffle House all over the place. We can just hit one whenever, and we hardly ever do.
Yeah, and here in the metro area, there's usually a Waffle House on every corner.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen some side by side almost.
There's no way to leave here without going by one. If you go up Bell's Ferry, there's one up there at Sixes. If you go down Bell's Ferry, there's one just before. Well, there's two. There's one down there at 92, and there's another one before you get on 575. If you take Town Lake out of here, Eagle Drive, there's a brand new one there, and then there's another one right down there by 575. So there's no escape. You can't get out of here without going by one.
And you know what? I've never seen a Waffle House go out of business.
Yeah, I have seen them close.
Okay.
But that's not all that common. So they generally do pretty well. But when we go to the Waffle House, we order the All-Star, which is their sampler, right? But we tell them to hold the waffle until later. And sometimes we don't get to the waffle. It's like, yeah, serve it to somebody that, you know.
Or you can always just take it home in a box or something. Yeah, it's not the same. Really.
Yeah.
You're right.
And Rogers, this gathering and it's Miss Pamela. This is an event, right? There's you fellowship, but there's usually it's an event, right? She organizes it well.
She does, and a lot of the guys, we'll talk radio, and Patrick 240, he goes there a lot, and so we, Pamela, she'll bring a gift bag for people who RSVP'd, and it's a nice event.
Very cool, very good,
very nice. All right, well, I knew that we'd forgotten to get that in there, and Pamela you're in the roster here, coming up in just a little bit. In fact, you might even be next. It just depends on whether these next folks are in or in and out. We've got them all marked as in, but they might not be. So stick close, Pamela, and we'll get you in here. But before we move too far along, I just wanted to check in one more time with David and see if he had any idea what his topic for the rabbit hole is going to be.
Yes, sir. We are looking into home remedies. I know with the allergy season, Lisa has been making this garlic honey. It's garlic infused honey, and it is an amazing thing that we've been taking. And none of us here at the house have been sick or come down with any allergy symptoms or whatever. You take a spoonful a day, and it has been amazing for the Lomas family. So home remedies will be the next rabbit hole. And just as a reminder, speaking of that, we'll be at a place that does not serve rabbit wings. Last I heard, they do not fly. Taco Mac is this Saturday, so come on out and join us at the Dallas Highway Taco Mac at 11 a.m. and we get to hang out and have some non-rabbit food.
All right. Well, that is excellent stuff. And yeah, it's the local honey that is most effective for allergies, is what I understand. If you buy the honey from the supermarket, who knows where that comes from, but somehow the pollen that the bees process that is local to you can have an impact on your allergic reaction to those pollens. So I don't know how all of that works. I kind of thought that honey was honey, and I don't know how the pollen. I don't get it. But maybe there's a beekeeper in the mix that could come to the rabbit hole net and talk about how the local honey has an impact on allergies.
And you know what? Speaking of bees, there was a mini bee net earlier today.
Oh, there was.
Several guys were talking about bees and, them producing honey and different, just different things, different topics around bees. I heard that on the ride in today. So.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, we had a little bee talk.
Well, I knew that we had some beekeepers within the group. So, David, I think that your next net will be very well attended. What's our date for that net again?
That date for the next rabbit hole is going to be the 24th, if my calendar is correct. Yes, 24th. No, I'm sorry. 25th, I'm looking at Saturday. It will be the 25th for the next rabbit hole. I'm getting confused here.
Mouse don't work.
That's right. Well, I love to put David on the spot because he's generally very well prepared, but I have a way of throwing questions at him sideways, so it's a lot of fun. Good stuff, David. Enjoyed hanging out with you and Lisa the other night, and looking forward to the next opportunity we have to visit. And I've just there we go. Okay, I'm back. All right, next in the roster we have Atlanta 575, Jason in Mableton. Jason, do you have any comments for tonight's net? All right, we're going to mark Jason as in and out and continue on with McDonough 4-5, Kai and McDonough. How about it, Kai? You have any comments tonight? All right, we're going to show Kai as in and out. Hang on there, Pamela. We're getting closer, but before we go to you, let's check in with Noonan 119, Jim in Noonan. Jim, did you have any comments tonight? All right, we're going to show Jim as in and out, and that'll bring it to Atlanta 849, Pamela in Duluth. Pamela, tonight's topic is barbecuing and outdoor kitchens and smoking and that sort of stuff. Do you have any comments?
Well, gentlemen, Pamela here, and it's my ears are burning a little bit there. Not too long ago, they felt like they were smoking in part of the program. But yes, you know, I love barbecue, and I like pork. I like to have a barbecue smoked turkey occasionally, which just so happens to be at our lunch brunch on Saturday. They do have the smoked turkey there. It's really tender, and I get extra, and I take it home, and I put it in, wrap it in wax paper, put it in a baggie, and then put it in a freezer bag, and I freeze it and take it out when I need it, and it's still just as good and tender as when I first bought it. But let me break. But thank you for talking about the brunch, because I was going to mention it, because I see you missed it, because my new phone and tablet, I'm having some issues with it. I must have missed your, where you sent something to me. But yes, we will be having it, and just storm on in on Saturday, because we may be having storms to deal with that Saturday, but we will safely get there. I want everybody else to get there safely that can let me know that they're coming. And we don't do any smoking here, so I have to go out and enjoy it wherever we go. So that's why I'm glad that JR's is available, and Dreamland and Roswell, when I get a chance, they have awesome barbecue, and you can smell it as soon as you walk in the door. And let me break. And Joseph Atlanta 1126 came last month with his wife Gaylin to our brunch at JR's, and it was great to meet him. And I remember that they did the barbecue judging, and so I really wanted to meet them, so I'm so glad they came, and they're great people. So if you have any questions about the barbecuing and want to join the association, I think that's a great thing, because there's so many people out there that do have information they want. So anyway, I think that's about all, and I appreciate y'all remembering us. So we'll hope to see you on Saturday around noon or so, breakfast, lunch, until around 2 or 2:30. Thank you so much, guys.
All right, Pamela, very good stuff. And yeah, there's no better opportunity as members. Is that one of our phones? We have an alert going off in here.
Amber Alert.
So there's no better opportunity than any of these lunch gatherings to get to know some of the people, some of the faces, and just fellowship with radio enthusiasts that are much like yourself. So Pamela's gathering and at JR's Log House, or the Rabbit Hole gathering over on in Kennesaw are great opportunities, and there's stuff going on all the time. So if you miss one, there'll be another opportunity coming up soon, and there's always next month. So I encourage everyone to definitely check out one of these lunch gatherings, or even become regular at one. Thank you, Pamela, for hosting the gathering on your side, in your corner of the world. Next, we have Gainesville 417, William in Auburn. William, do you have any comments for the net? Do you have any barbecue recipes that you'd like to share? Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there, William, but we weren't able to really copy any of that. We could tell you were in there, but we couldn't hear it well enough to be able to make out any of what you said. I don't know if you want to try try it again. Maybe if you're on an HT, find a better spot, or if not, then we'll have to try you again maybe next week. But we didn't copy any of that.
Okay, I think my radio's going out, actually.
All right, I heard you say that you think your radio is going dead. Yeah, might be time to charge the battery there. Sorry about that, William, but definitely interested in what you have to say. If you get a chance to get on another radio or get a fresh battery and you want to chime in, just comment there at the end, and we'd love to hear from you. Next we have Atlanta 1150, Tony in Canton. Tony, do you have any comments for tonight's net? All right, we're going to show Tony as in and out and move on to CW57, Mr. Bruce in Stevens. You have any comments for tonight's net? All right. Again, these may have been in and out, and I just missed that during our check-in. So we'll try. I don't know if Joe is going to be available. He's got a lot of company over there tonight. Big goings on there at the Vortex. But Gainesville 44 Joe in Cleveland. Do you have any comments for tonight? Now, I bet he smoked a brisket over there, and he's got the boys coming over to help him eat it. Because that's the trouble I would have, smoking a big old pile of meat like that. There's no way that I could consume it. So, I'd have to invite you guys over and have you help me eat it.
It's a party.
Yeah. So, Joe, is that what's going on? Did you smoke something tasty on the grill tonight?
Gainesville 44, no, but if you get a smoker, let me know. I'll come by for you. We, had some ribs that got a little bit of smoke, and we finished them off in a crock pot. So we had ribs tonight with some mac and cheese, homemade coleslaw, baked beans. But my smoker seems like one of the best things I've done on it was a tri-tip. That got a lot of rave reviews. I use the smoker quite a bit. A lot of times I'll use it to get smoke on something like a good turkey breast. Then I'll bring it in and sous vide it for about 8 hours. Some of those meals turn out good too. But we try to have a Thursday night meal here. Something to the time.
No, that's very good stuff. And we kind of around here we tend to do it the other way around. We'll boil the ribs first and then finish them on the grill. Is something that we've done a lot. We've not tried the sauvé yet, but it's something that I've been fascinated with, and seems like it's a great idea and a wonderful way that you can cook low and slow, and with minimal effort. So. Seems to me that once you get everything prepared in the bag and in the water, it's kind of a set and forget sort of a deal. So that's pretty cool. But you start off on the smoker and then finish with the sauvé. Is that right?
That's correct. Generally, they tell you that whatever you're smoking is absorbed as much smoke flavor as it's going to within 2 hours. So generally I'll get something smoked for a couple hours and then finish cooking it however I like to mix it up.
Oh yeah, and I believe that to be true. We smoke stuff for hours mostly because we're just trying to get that internal temperature to come up slowly, and so low and slow. And it's not about smoking it so much for 10 hours. It's really about just bringing that temperature up slowly. And but I think you're right. Within the first couple hours, it's going to take on as much smoke flavoring as it's going to get. So I think that's valid. That's great. I guess when it's time to dig into the Sauvet, we'll know that we can get advice from you. So good stuff. Glad to hear you're back in action and you got the gang back together. So good stuff. They're on a mission over there. Thank you, Joe. With that, we're going to continue on to Atlanta 250. Dana, high atop Mount Olympus. Dana, you got your smoker going up there?
Well, I thought I was missed there, but I guess I just lost track of time doing too many things. Multitasking, as you say, Justin. Anyway, good evening to all three of you tonight, usually four. Something that everybody's overlooking, and I've been having a craving lately. Twice I've invited the neighbors up to do a low country boil. I know it's not smoking. I know it's not barbecuing. Let me reset here. But it is a delicious food, and I'm talking about the hot and mild sausage, baby reds, shrimp, lobster tails, some crab claws, and corn halves. Yeah, I mean, throw that after it's cooked off on some newspaper, and well, I'm in seventh heaven. That's all I got for you guys, and so I will turn it back over to Net Control.
Very good. We have done the low country boil, and we'll likely do it again. We use a turkey fryer. In fact, I bought the turkey fryer used with that in mind, so it works great. One of the challenges, at least with my turkey fryer, it shuts itself off after 15 minutes. So you need to be out there with it because it takes longer than that really just to even get the water to a good rolling boil. But it's a nice big burner. And if you can be out there to reset the timer and get that thing up and going again, I wish it didn't have that timer, and I don't know that I want to really try to defeat that, but yeah, it's just a matter of restarting it every 15 minutes or so, and then yeah, it'll get the temperature up there. It'll get that water nice and rolling in a boil. You add in your ingredients. Usually we add the potatoes and the corn first, and the shrimp goes in last. And yeah, it's wonderful. You got a picnic table with a bunch of newspapers spread out over it. That's the way to go. Yeah, where do you get your newspapers these days? I think that's the challenge. Is nobody has a newspaper delivered to the house anymore. So I don't know. You probably have to go down to the butcher shop and get some butcher paper, maybe.
That's exactly what I use, is a roll of that brown meat packing paper, that the butchers will wrap up meat, and you can get that at, Sam's Club, Walmart. I picked it up one time, but that way you're not dealing with a bunch of fly-away newspaper. It's just one roll. You cut it off with a razor, and voila, you're ready.
Very good. And probably a roll is going to supply you for many, many seasons with the low country boil. And yeah, that's something you have to invite your neighbors over for, or your friends, because that generally produces more than a meal. And but yeah, that's a lot of fun. It's a fun meal to prepare, and it's fun to eat. So yeah, you ever do a low country boil?
Oh, I've had some before, plenty. So, yeah, just throw all the ingredients. I had one recently. A friend of mine fixed one, and it was nice.
Yeah, I wouldn't turn down the opportunity if I were invited. I would definitely make an effort to show up. So, yeah, that's.
And it always seems like it's better on the second time around. At least for me, I don't know, but
I don't know that I've. Yeah, leftovers. I pretty much get my fill the first time around because I load up a plate, and there's all kinds of stuff. There's the sausage, there's potatoes, corn. Those are all things that I love. I'm not a big shrimp fan, but when you're talking a low country boil, you're gonna have to have some shrimp. If there's lobster, that's probably gonna be my choice. But there's oftentimes, I mean, every time I've been to a low country boil, there's been a mix of things. I've had crab legs at a low country boil. So, I mean, it just depends on, I guess, what's available, and some of that stuff you can buy a little cheaper. You just got to watch what's happening in the market, and so I'm sure that's why the ingredients are different because of individual taste. But I've never been to the same one twice, in terms of a low country boil. So.
It's got a possibility for a Friday night event. There's an event called the Simplex Challenge. There could be a low country boil tied to that, maybe. Somehow.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just kind of dropping a hint.
High atop Mount Olympus.
There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, we know we have a contact.
I think that could very well be. So we'll have to explore the possibilities on a Friday night Simplex boil. What do you think?
Yeah, we can do a Summits on the Air, and, oh my gosh, we could, it would be a lot of fun, definitely. And you're right, no leftovers at all. I got a neighbor that, his name is Dexter, and boy, can he knock down some crab legs. And so I'm like you, Justin, I'll grab a lobster tail and some of the baby reds, and love the sausage, stuff like that. But yeah, you blink and those crab claws are gone with him.
Well, it just so happens that we have a connection with a shrimp captain down in Alabama, and if there was to be an event that was going to call for a significant amount of shrimp, we could make a trip down and buy it at a bargain right off of the boat, and it doesn't get any better than that. If we had a significant interest, we could even turn that into maybe a fundraiser where we go down and get several coolers full of food and bring that back and distribute it if people are interested in us making a bulk purchase and making something like that worthwhile. So we could maybe even organize such an event that we would all meet maybe at Flagship and have a boil and pass out the shrimp that people order. We could do something like that. So if there's interest there, that's definitely within our means. So I'll leave that up to Todd to organize. What do you think?
No. But yeah, hey, might be a reason to celebrate. So and have it up there at Flagship, and I think that would be pretty cool, to tell you the truth. And we could actually probably do a Summits on the Air from there.
Yeah, it seems like an appropriate place for Summits on the Air. So something we should definitely take a look at. With that in mind, let's see if Atlanta 1402 is if he's had a chance to get past dinner, and if he's got any barbecue recipes or meals that he'd like to share. Todd, are you there?
1402. Joining the chat here, gentlemen and ladies. Yeah, I've been listening for about the last 5-10 minutes. Yeah, Chris and I got the supper done and dishes cleaned up. And I got to say, Justin and Dana as well, you guys hang out in a higher class of group than I do, because our low country boils are usually centered around some corn on the cob, some red potatoes, some andouille sausage, and a bunch of crawdads. We don't have lobster tails and maybe some shrimp in there, but yeah, it's mostly crawfish.
Yeah, I just never could bring myself to water bugs. You eat any crawfish?
Not a whole lot.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot.
Yeah. How about you, Gary?
I have. I actually, my last trip to New Orleans, they misunderstood what I ordered, and I ended up with a tall plate of crawfish.
Yeah.
And I made my way through it, and halfway through it, I was okay. It was good. It was good. They asked me to open my eyes at one point, but it was good.
Oh, that would be how I would get through it. I have to close my eye. I don't know what it is. They peel all the legs off of the shrimp before it ever comes to my plate, so I don't have to think about it as being a water bug. Lobster, it's just the tail, so you don't have to see the water bug, part of that. But when I get to thinking about that, it affects how appetizing those things are to me. So presentation is everything. And the crawfish, I've always seen them presented whole. Yeah, and yeah, I'm a hard pass on that one.
1402 coming back in. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the whole mud bug eating it. So when I go to the various and sundry low country boils I've been to, these are all private ones, mind you. It's not a commercial event. I'm sticking more to the corn and the sausage and the potatoes, and if they have any shrimp in there, the shrimp. But not a big fan of the mud bug myself. But if you're ever down in New Orleans in one of the finer restaurants, get the crawfish etouffee. It's a magical experience. I promise you. I mean, it's a good eating piece of delicacy there, but I'm taking them off the plate there, table, and no, that's not really my thing. Back to net control.
I think it's the part of that's nice about the boil is that you can eat what you want out of it. So
yes.
if you don't like, what did you call it, the bed bug? What was it?
The water bugs.
The water bug. If you're not a fan of the water bug, you go for the corn, you go for the potatoes, you go for the lobster if you're first in. So it's good eating.
Yeah, it is, and you're right. That is something you can kind of pick and choose through because it's all scattered across the table, and it's real easy to see what the prizes are.
Yeah.
All right, well, good stuff. Thanks for all of that, Todd. Appreciate your comments tonight. And yeah, I guess you've been nominated to organize the next gathering up there at Flagship when we have the North Georgia GMRS Low Country Boil. So let me know how that goes. You'll have to probably collect some contributions from some folks before we go make our purchase down at the Gulf. Next on the list, we have McDonough 22 Tim in Stockbridge. Tim, do you have any comments for tonight's topic?
Well, good evening, everyone. What I have is it's kind of on topic, but it's not exactly barbecue. But I have a grill or any way to barbecue where I live over here, and don't have that many kinfolks around to get around anymore to do stuff like that. And I don't know anything about rubs and all, but my stepfather, back many years ago, we lived in a subdivision, and we had friends, on both sides of the house and across the street, and we cooked out on the grill all the time. And we called them Ray Burgers because my stepfather's name was Ray. And he'd make hamburgers that were just out of this world. And I have made them a time or two, but it's been many years ago. But each hamburger consisted of about a third of a pound of ground chuck. You can make it a little bit less or even a little bit more if you want to, but generally his were about a third of a pound of ground chuck, and they wound up being about 1.5 inches thick. But he'd take that ground chuck and he'd put in a little bit of onion powder, a little bit of garlic powder, and he'd chop up onions kind of fine, but not too fine, and a little bit of salt and pepper. And I don't know if he used anything else in there or not, but he would roll that onions and all that stuff up in there together in that hamburger and cook them on a charcoal grill, and just a little bit pink in the middle. And man, that's the best hamburgers I've ever eaten. I've never had a hamburger yet that tasted like those. Years ago with the church group that I was going to, we wanted to cook some burgers outside, and I decided to supply the burgers. They supplied the grill, and I supplied the meat and the fixings, and I made the burgers, and they turned out pretty close to what we used to call Ray burgers. But like I said, not exactly barbecue. I guess you could throw some barbecue sauce on there, but I guarantee you wouldn't want to ruin them burgers with barbecue sauce. Them things were juicy and delicious.
Well, that's the magic right there, Tim. If you've got good meat to start with, you don't need to cover it up with sauce. And that's not a universal truth, because I've had plenty of pork butt that was very tasty, with and without sauce. And but good barbecue sauce can go a long way toward covering up some flavor. So you just got to be careful what you're doing with it and what kind of meat you're using it on. Like I said, I would hate to put barbecue sauce on a brisket, because I really enjoy that beef flavor. But usually a good brisket is rubbed with some kind of seasoning, and I don't think onion would be out of the question for that. But with hamburger, you chop it up fine and you roll the hamburger in the onion. That's going to get right down in there and stick into the burger. So that sounds like that would be very interesting. I hadn't considered that for the tiki burgers.
May want to give it a try.
Maybe. Might be worth looking at. So good stuff. Thanks for that, Tim. Anything else before we go?
No, gentlemen, that'll be it. I'm enjoying listening to everybody else tonight, though, and it all sounds good. I will say this, I don't know if it's in other stores or not. I buy groceries at Food Depot down here in Stockbridge, and when I do use barbecue sauce, and I've tried, there's so many of them these days, and everybody's got their own brand, but there's one in the Food Depot down here. It's just called Open Pit Barbecue Sauce Original. And to me, that's about the best tasting barbecue sauce I've had. And I've tried Stubbs and all the other different ones, and Newman's Own and everything out there. And it's not real complicated, but it's pretty good barbecue sauce. If you run across a bottle of Open Pit barbecue sauce on the store shelf, I think you might enjoy it. But other than that, I'll throw it back to Net Control. Enjoy it, gentlemen.
Well, that's the thing about barbecue sauces. There's, everybody's got their own preference for what a barbecue sauce should taste like, or what the best one is, and there's a blue million of them out there, and everywhere you go, and all the restaurants make their own. So there's just a crazy wide range of what you can get for barbecue. There's a place down in St. Johns County, outside of St. Augustine, Florida. It's called Woodpecker's Backyard Barbecue, and it is kind of out in the county. It's away from town. It's away from everything, and it's just in a corner of, I don't even remember what the highway names are. And it's one of these deals where you park on the pine needles back in between the trees, and you walk up to the place. You can sit at tables outside. If it's really hot outside, they've got a couple of tables on the inside with air conditioning. But it's a real hole-in-the-wall kind of a place, and my golly, is it good.
Is that it? Is that it right there on the screen? Woodpeckers?
That looks like that's it. Yeah, right there. So it's a wonderful environment. It's really great. It looks like they've got new signs up there because it was run down looking the last time I was there. But
they had a problem with woodpeckers.
Really great.
So they had to redo their sign.
Really great food. But there's another favorite barbecue place of mine, and it's kind of funny. The house we lived in Fort Wayne, we were there for 12 years. And we lived there for 5 years before we stumbled upon this barbecue place called Ziffel's. And Ziffel's was walking distance from the house. It was less than half a mile. And I tell you, it's one of these places that is just, in terms of barbecue, the flavor is unique, and the serving sizes were good, the portions were good, the prices were reasonable. And anytime we had visitors from Atlanta, there was the railroad, coming to town, we'd take them to Ziffel's, and they would come away from the experience swearing it was the best barbecue they ever had.
Wow.
So, and that scenario played out time and time and time again. And they would participate in barbecue competitions. They had a competition trailer that they would take down to these events and participate in those. So I don't know. I've never went to any of those events to know exactly how that plays out or how well they did. But they had plenty of awards lining shelves within the store. So, but yeah, very enjoyable. Ziffel's. If you're ever in Fort Wayne, Indiana, check out Ziffel's Barbecue. I think you'll enjoy it.
And I'm looking at their website right here. The food looks delicious. So I can see why it was a fan favorite.
Yeah, and the fries are fresh cut fries, so and that's always a favorite of mine. When like Five Guys, the hamburger joint, when you order the fries there, they're cut right there, and put into the oil almost within minutes of being cut. So that's amazing to me. That is the best French fry you can do in the world, and they do something like that at Ziffel's. They're fresh cut fries, and very, very, very tasty. It's just a combination of everything. So, but yeah, very much enjoy that. Well, very good stuff, and hats off to the team here for being able to pull up the graphics and the images for YouTube on the fly. We hadn't discussed any of this prior, so this is all being generated as we speak, as the topics come up. So thanks for that, Tim. With that, we're going to continue on. We did speak with Roosevelt 10, but I'm pretty sure he had no intentions of participating tonight. He's just checking out his local repeater. That'll bring us next to Chattanooga 84 Jim in Hickson. Jim had a couple of things going on tonight, but let's see if Jim's hanging out at the moment and if he's got any barbecue tips or suggestions he'd like to make. Chattanooga 84, go ahead. All right, we're going to skip Jim for now and maybe try to come back to him after bit. With that in mind, let's go next to Atlanta 350, Ted in Tucker. Ted, do you have any comments for the net tonight? All right, we're going to show Ted as in and out and continue on. Next, we have Atlanta 306 George in Loganville. George, how about it? You got any comments for tonight? Isn't it funny how they all go away right at 9 o'clock?
I think we've lost a bunch to the kitchen. I'm
Well,
just
that could
guessing.
very well
They've
be.
gone to the kitchen
Looking for snacks.
They're looking for snacks.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've got one more, and that would be Gainesville 47 Todd in Gainesville. Don't know if Todd's going to be available or not. He made mention in the chat that it would be touch and go. So let's just check in with Gainesville 47. I believe Todd was one of our, if not the first, one of the very first lifetime members. Gainesville 47, are you there?
Oh, do you got a copy on me?
Yeah, sure do. Go right ahead. Gainesville 47, go right ahead. All right, not getting an answer. Todd may have gotten involved in a call, so he may not be able to come and play on the radio. Well, we're going to go ahead and show him as in and out and continue on. At this time, we're going to acknowledge a handful of YouTube check-ins. We've got WRYQ727 Miko from upstate New York. We've got Chattanooga 17 Christopher in Dayton, Tennessee. Atlanta 514 Michael in Cartersville. In Atlanta 355 Damon in Canton. And I trust that catches us up with the YouTube check-ins. I'm not entirely sure. We'll see if we get any comments here from the Solid Ridge to tell us whether or not that's true. It looks like he's inactive at the moment. So.
Yeah, I think he's been keeping up. I show Atlanta 355 as our last YouTube chicken.
All right then. All right, have you had a chance to look at any of those comments? Anything that we need to bring to the air?
I have. I don't really see anything about the topic tonight. There was a lot of guests that just found us scanning and stayed with us for the net, so we appreciate that. But no comments on the topic tonight. But just a great opportunity to go back and go online to YouTube and watch the net replay. It's been full of nuggets tonight, from the green egg to Joseph, the doctor of barbecue.
Yeah.
To the low country boil.
We spent a lot of time on a low country boil.
We did.
I don't know about the audience, but there's a lot of interest in the low country boil right here.
Right.
All right then. Well, I think at this point it's time to open it up for one last round of check-ins or any questions or comments. Now, if you've been listening or if you've just found us and this is something that you'd like to participate in, this is your opportunity to jump in with a call sign. Even if you're not a member of North Georgia GMRS, if you have a valid FCC call sign, we would love to add you to the roster tonight and hear your comments. If you are a member, of course, just go ahead and take this opportunity if you weren't able to check in earlier. And remember, you can go back to the YouTube video and you can catch up on all the bits and pieces as they were. So, all right, looks like all right. So with that, let's go ahead and open it up for any additional late check-ins. Net control standing by.
This is Chattanooga 260 WSTM 494. I thought I was one of the first people to check in. I'm not really sure. I'll be in and out now.
Justin, I don't think you heard me a while ago. WFR 920. You got a copy?
Yeah, WFR is all I heard. I think there might have been an S in there, 920. Come back. I think I heard a call, a TAC number in there. Can you come back with that?
George in Loganville, Atlanta 306.
Oh, yeah, we did call out for you, George. I'm not sure what happened there, but I'm going to put you in the comments section, and we will come back to you here shortly. Let's see if we have any more late check-ins.
Control. Control, if you would please check in WRTS 814, Tacoma 32. Matthew, North Georgia here in South Carolina. Not sure if I'm making it in RF or not, but that's the topic from that traffic.
Not copying that one. Okay, I think that was an awkward enough pause for the Zello folks. All right, I'm going to go ahead and acknowledge what we have. I left a nice long pause in there just in case Zello users were having the challenge that I often have when I try to check in, but I think we left a big enough hole in there for Zello folks. But so let me tell you what I heard. I heard a Chattanooga 260 Colt in Dalton. We must have missed your check-in earlier, Colt. I don't recall having heard you, and I don't see you in the roster. So glad you were able to make it in right here at the end. Also, we have Tacoma 33 Matthew in Pickens, South Carolina. A little bit of a rough copy, but overall pretty readable. Matthew, if you want to know how we heard you, how well we copied you, you can just pull up the YouTube live stream and play it back tonight or tomorrow, and go right toward the end of the program, and you can hear just what we heard when you checked in. And we have a comment from Atlanta 306, George in Loganville. Hold on here just a second, George. Let's go first to Chattanooga 260, Colt in Dalton. Did you have any comments for tonight's net?
Negative, sir. I was just trying to be heard so I could be famous on North Georgia GMRS. I don't really know how to cook, but the more I hear, the better I get at it.
All right, very good. We're going to show you as in and out and continue on. Let's see if Tacoma 33 Matthew has any comments for tonight's net.
Hey, Justin. Nothing other than I am an avid smoker, and I enjoyed listening to most of it. Conditions are a little tough. I'm not sure how well you're hearing me tonight, but yeah, low and slow is what it's all about, guys. Carry on. WRTS 814, Tacoma 33.
Very good. Low and slow is the key. Okay, thanks for that, Matthew. And that brings us to Atlanta 306, George in Loganville. George, go ahead with your comments.
Hey, Justin, I think you might have a copy of me now. I enjoyed meeting you at the picnic. I think I went into Vanguard trailer and met you and Mike and the photographer, the one that was carrying the camera around. I can't call his name, but he knows who I'm talking about. Met him, and I really enjoyed that. Met a lot of people.
Yeah, the picnic was a lot of fun. The food is one thing, but it's the fellowship is really what it's all about for me. I was tied up for most of the day with some work-related stuff, but when I finally got freed up from that, I was really able to enjoy visiting with folks, and the presentation that Gary made, I thought that was pretty impressive. The Dean Biskey Memorial that is now, at this moment, it's mounted inside the the shelter there at Flagship, and an outdoor plaque is being created to be mounted outdoors, which is basically a reproduction of the indoor plaque. So it'll be something that can withstand the elements. The elements are pretty severe up there at times. So we had a wonderful day. We had very mild weather, and just couldn't beat it. Couldn't beat the fellowship. Couldn't beat the day. It was great to get Vanguard out and out there where people can see. One of the comments that I heard, I think probably the most, was it's a lot smaller than it looks. So from watching the YouTube channel, you may not have an appreciation for how tight the quarters are in here. It's not bad tonight with only 3 of us, but when we get a full house in here, it does get crowded. And cycling in, if there are 5 of us, somebody has to wait for a chair. But we make it work. And we are in the process of building a permanent studio. It's slow going. That's mostly my fault. But we'll get there eventually. And when we do, Vanguard will be even more deployable. And it'll be out and about in more and more events as we're able to transition into a more permanent studio situation. So looking forward to that. And it was great to meet you and all the other folks up there at the picnic. Rogers, did you have anything you'd like to add to that?
No, it was a great meeting him as well. And
were you the guy with the camera?
I was the guy with the camera.
Yeah,
one of them, I guess. Yeah, but we got a lot of good footage, and that video is on our Facebook page as well. For those who missed, they can go back and see the recap video of that. But yeah, that was my second cookout, so I had a great time meeting and fellowshipping and just having fun.
Yeah, definitely check out that video. We should probably find that and pin it so it's easier for people to find. Remind me to do that when we go off the air. And then, the video was a great recap of the event. So we'll maybe even add that to the YouTube channel as well. So we'll see whether we can do that or not. But great to have met you and many of the other members of North Georgia GMRS. Thanks a lot, George. Did you have anything else before we close?
I heard different ones talking about cooking Boston butts and whatever, but I didn't hear nobody talking about cooking like a wild game dinner or something like that. Every year at Snellville First Baptist Church, we have a wild game dinner, and we serve around 500 plus people. And we'll cook something like 35 and have cooked 40 Boston butts at one time. We got a big cooker. And the way break right now. The way we do that is we will take the Boston butts and put rub on them. I forget what kind that we use. I'm not the main cooker, but we'll rub them down. Put them on the big grill. It's on a big trailer. And we will cook them for about an hour and a half to 2 hours and brown them a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Then we'll take them off and we will wrap them with heavy tin foil, and we'll leave one end open, and we'll pour probably close to a quart of water, not quite a quart of water in each one of them. And then just take your fist and ball the tin foil up on the end where the water can't come out. And we put them back on the grill, all of them. It's done that way. And let them cook probably to about 6 the next morning. And this is started around 10 o'clock at night. Usually, I'd say around 9 o'clock. And then we get out there and we cook them an hour and a half, 2 hours. And then put the tin foil, the heavy tin foil on it, and wrap them. And then put them back on the grill and let them cook on hickory and oak, slow for around 6 o'clock the next morning. Break. Then we get out there, it'll be 2 or 3 of us, and have a big stainless steel table, and you can take your tongs, and when you undo that tin foil on a Boston butt, you can actually stick the tongs inside that Boston butt and pull the bone out and just hit it with the tongs, and it would just go to pieces. And the reason
Timer.
we have so many people coming to eat, because we sell tickets for this. And that's the way we do it. When you have that many people, you got to cook that way, and it's surprisingly how good that barbecue is.
No, that does sound. That sounds like a real treat. And you know, the wild game, the church that we've been going to, recently had a men's night where they were serving wild game. I'm not a big fan of wild game. I just don't have that. That taste for that appetite for wild game. I've tried several, and it's not horrible. I would sooner have the familiar flavors. So, but that's me. I think that the wild game is a really popular thing, and I love the idea that this game that we hunt is being consumed. I think that's important. If you're hunting for the sport, I don't have a lot of appreciation for that. But if you're hunting for the meat, I see tremendous value in that, and I have a lot of support for people that are hunting for the meat. So the wild game as an event that fascinates me, and I would likely attend and sample a number of things, even though that's not necessarily my first choice. But it's very cool. I've never had I've had venison, but I've never had any of the other wild meats in terms of like the bear or the wild boar. So I don't know what those things necessarily taste like, but I'd be willing to try it. You ever had any of those things?
I've tried many different meats. Sometimes I don't know the name of them. In some of my travels, so I've been to like Philippines and I had I don't even know what it was, but it was good. It was good, but it was wild game, and it was good though.
Very nice. Lots of different meats.
Yeah.
There's a well, I'll save that one for off the air. I've told this joke before, so I don't think Rogers has heard it, so I'll give this one to him off the air. But good stuff, George, and well, thanks for the comments about the net, and especially about that. I could imagine where that water in with the Boston butt would steam and just go in there and just break that meat right to pieces. That sounds amazing. So that's a great idea. All right, with that, I think I've got to find that page. Are we there already?
And Justin, we had one late YouTube visitor who was just listening to the net.
Okay.
WSIG 644 Giorgio. We have you in the log.
All right, fantastic. Thanks for checking us out, Giorgio. And it occurs to me that we were supposed to go back to Jim, Chattanooga 84. Jim, are you monitoring, or have we lost you for the evening? Chattanooga 84. All right. I think that Jim had an interest in participating tonight, but he's also got some other things that are going on, so that's probably why he's not answering. So with that, I'm going to say this concludes the North Georgia GMRS Regional Net. Tonight we had a total of, it looks like 68 chickens, including net control. We will now be returning the repeaters back to normal use. Everyone who signed in should sign out. Don't forget, like and subscribe, and remember, comments on the YouTube videos shows engagement with the video and helps the channel grow. Tune in next week on any North Georgia GMRS linked repeater or in the YouTube live stream when we talk about, what are we talking about next? We're going to talk about Memorial Day and honoring those who have served. So whether they've served in the armed forces or if they've served in police, fire rescue, ambulance services, those who've served, and remembering family and friends and people that are important to us. So that's our topic next week. if you have a family member that you would like to present for the memorial service, send us a photo. Make a post on our YouTube page. We have a post that'll be coming out on Sunday. Just make a comment on that YouTube post or on that Facebook post on Sunday or Monday or Tuesday, and include a picture and a short bio of your family member, and we'll see if we can make the magic happen to make those presentations on the live stream. So bear that in mind. Our next topic is going to be honoring heroes for the coming Memorial Day. Thank you for allowing us to serve as your net control this evening. Good night, everyone. This is Atlanta 946 WQIR 514. My name is Justin.
And this is WSAL 368, Atlanta 263. My name is Rogers.
And this is WRUB 711, Atlanta 519. My name is Gary.
We are North Georgia GMRS Network. And we are clear. Good night, everyone.